Right, time to say hello to our guests this evening. They're the stars of a great new family movie called If.
And he is a Michelin-starred chef who's whisking us away to France for some fine food. Please welcome Marcus Wareing, Fiona, Cailey Fleming and John Krasinski. Welcome.
What a sofa. What a bank holiday sofa.
Where do I begin? Well, Marcus, we've been talking food there and you're watching that film with great interest. And social media's changed the food industry as a whole a lot, hasn't it? I mean, a lot of wannabe chefs are using it now to launch their careers. What do you make of all that?
I think that's fine. I think social media is a platform for people to express themselves. But the heart of cookery is from the soul, it's from within. And I think, yes, we can all see everything online. We can get all the recipes from all over the world. It's how you use them. I think the core of a chef is to be you need to be taught properly, understand the basic values of what food and cookery is all about, and build from on top of that. So social media, there's nothing wrong with it, but I find that sometimes a lot of recipes don't work. I had a little experience with my daughter who loves baking. You know, she'll bake from social media, and she's like, "Dad, these recipes don't work." I said, "Well, there you go. That's what happens when you go on social media." Oh, by the way, Jessie, I have got 9 cookbooks. You should try one of those. You should try one of those. Of course, and then it works, and then you know. But they're platforms, and they're important platforms, and it's the modern world we live in. So we are, you know, as chefs, we must embrace it. Yeah. But we do have a little chuckle at ourselves from time to time.
Those 16-year-olds, eh?
Marcus, Jessie loves that you just called her out.
I know. Yeah, it's everyone. Yeah.
Devil's in the detail, isn't it? The detail.
Well, I'm going to get it when I get home.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to you a lot more about your TV series very shortly, Marcus. But first, Fiona, Cailey, John, 3 of you are here because there's a brilliant family movie that you've done together called If. But before we chat about it, let's have a quick look at it.
I can help you.
How?
Because I'm a kid.
You are the chosen one. No. Let's not give her a complex. Good luck, short stack. It's all up to you. No pressure. All right, let's find these ifs and kids.
Chief! What kind of a kid creates an invisible if?
I can find anyone. Anywhere.
You got my mouth.
Thanks for doing this.
Don't look him in the eye.
Which one?
Yeah, that's gonna go right back.
Great seeing your faces, kind of watching the trailer there. It's hilarious. I mean, I was fortunate enough to go and watch it earlier on. I've got to say, I loved it. Can't wait to go and take the kids to see it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's about imaginary friends. Cailey, you play B, the starring role of B. You're absolutely brilliant in it, by the way. So congratulations. Tell us a bit about kind of her, though, and how she kind of gets to meet the imaginary friends.
Well, B is a 12-year-old girl, and she's kind of going through a little tough time in her life, which you'll see when you watch the movie. But in doing so and coping with what she's dealing with, she discovers she has this kind of superpower, I guess. She can see everyone's imaginary friends, and Ryan is the only other person who can see them. So you'll see in the movie they kind of strike up a little friendship.
Team up.
Okay. Yeah. And Fiona, how do you fit into the story?
Well, I think I fit into the story because she comes to stay with her grandmother. And not a very good grandmother, not very good at being a grandmother, and I hadn't seen her for a while. So it's about an awkward grandmother. Another reason why I think she's driven upstairs to discover her imaginary friend is that she, you know, so I'm her grandmother. And what's so beautiful about the story is that insofar as the grandmother tries to help her, in the end, of course, the little girl helps her grandmother get in touch with herself in a way. What do you think?
Perfect.
John, as well as playing B's dad in the movie, you wrote and directed the movie as well. Where was the inspiration, I suppose? You know,
my kids, 150%. It was my kids. I've always wanted to make a movie for my kids, but I wasn't sure what it was going to be. And I just would spend hours standing in a doorway watching my 2 daughters go to this magical land that as parents you're not invited to. And I just thought not only was it so full of joy, but it was so authentic to them. They were definitely transported somewhere else. And then actually the pandemic hit, and I saw, to be honest, their lights dim a little bit. And they started playing fewer and fewer imaginary games, and they started letting the real world in. And I saw fear coming in, which we all have. And they asked, are we going to be okay? And I said, that's it. I have to write this movie right now to say that that magical place that you created never goes away. You can always go back. We all have bad days, but you can always turn around and you have someone that's always got your back.
It did feel like there was a lesson in there for adults.
For sure.
Yeah, because, I don't know, we just do grow up too quick and lose that creative, imaginative kind of way about ourselves with our day-to-day lives, don't we? And
it's
that's
so
what
true.
It was telling me.
Yeah, it was funny. I was doing research in the beginning about the child psychology behind imaginary friends, and this Picasso quote came up that said, all kids are born artists, and it's about whether or not you can remain an artist as you grow up, because the world just tells you that all those magical things are for kids, leave them behind and be more serious. And you're like, maybe we should be the exact opposite of it.
Correct. Yeah.
And of course, you know, the film threw up plenty of creative challenges for you as filmmakers. So the ifs, the imaginary friends, they're a fantastic bunch. They're CGI in the movie, obviously. But Cailey, I know that John had replicas on set.
Yeah.
So how was that for you, acting with them? Because that must have been helpful.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it was different for every if, I think. For some of them, we had actors there, so that we had somebody to play off of, do dialogue and stuff. And then sometimes we had puppets, stuffed animals, and John
played a lot of them.
You were the kind of unofficial puppeteer.
Yeah, it's my narcissism is that I had to be a part of everything. No, it was really, really fun. And my whole thing on set is it should feel more like a play every single day, that you're doing this once and just for this one moment, so it feels just for you and intimate. And the only way to do that is to bring in whatever you can to make her imagination run wild. Little did I know she was so good she could have worked with a hot dog on a stick. But instead, we did everything we could to make it fun on set and really bring that magic as close as we could to the everyday life.
It's interesting kind of hear you talk like that, because obviously being the main man on set, and I heard you got some really good advice from the late, great Robin Williams about kind of your future almost, and kind of how to, you know, deal with the exact situation that you've been in.
I mean, he's one of the most magical people I've ever met in my life. And I think he's probably one of the greatest talents we've ever had for so many reasons. I think the talent can get you to the top, but it's who you are as a person that makes you stay there. And so the thing he taught me was, one day, if you're ever lucky enough to be the lead of a movie or direct a movie, you have to remember it's a responsibility, not a privilege. And so you have to be the person who takes on the role of caring for everybody. That you can't, he said, if the AC goes out, you're not hot. And if there's no food at Crafty, you're not hungry. And I was like, okay, good rule.
Listen,
But he's right. You got to bring the love of the game to every single second of the day. And it's very easy when you have actors like this on set.
Some great advice. And Fiona, you bit of the
He's the most ebullient, exciting director you could
Oh
have.
my God!
He just comes in every day bouncing. I mean, I think this is a complete, portrait of John, the whole film, because it's all the characters, he's every one of them, and it was great fun.
Well, you do a bit of directing yourself as well in theatre plays.
I have operas, but they're quite different to ours.
You understand that, You'll understand the art form of having to direct and manage a cast, I'm guessing, as well.
Yes,
But
I think he's right about the responsibility. You have to take responsibility, and you have to realise that you are lucky enough to be. But he was very lucky to have us, wasn't he?
That's right.
There you go. Yeah.
Your artistic talents, Fiona, shone in this movie, not just as an actor, but as an artist, as a painter.
Well, John came to me and said, maybe this woman paints, maybe she... So I got very enthusiastic, and a gorgeous man who revels in the name of Woodrow, who is the second AD, said, Fiona, we have some paints, and if you'd like to paint... So I was down in these dressing rooms making these paintings, and very kindly they allowed them grace the set. So
there they are. We can see some of them there.
Yes!
That's a talent. That's a multi-talented
Very different
woman.
styles. I have multiple styles, which is a bad sign for an artist.
No, it's not. It was amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible.
You can turn your hand to anything. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You can see If in cinemas from the 17th of May. Still to come, we're going to be chatting to Marcus as he swaps the MasterChef kitchen for the French countryside.
Well, John, you actually learnt American Sign Language yourself, didn't you? From, was it A
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place, the movie. And your wife was in that movie as well.
That's right.
But it was important for you to learn it.
That's right. Our lead actress was deaf, and she was so brilliant to be patient with us while we were learning ASL for the movie. But I was so blown away by how much is communicated aside from sign language. She said that she actually reads your intention from your face and how you're speaking to her. So she had an interpreter on set, but she would look at her interpreter very infrequently because she would always say, no, I can understand everything he's saying just by your intention, which I thought was amazing. It's magic.
Yeah. It's time now to take you across the channel as Marcus will be showcasing the best of French cuisine in his new series. Here's what's on the menu.
We are going to be discovering the secrets of the very best and simplest French cooking.
That is a discovery. Nice and easy, simple dinner for one.
I'll be sharing tips, tricks and techniques.
We've got flavours of Provence. There's sunshine for you.
And enjoying a bit of friendly rivalry along the way.
That was close. I'm a little nervous. I knew I wouldn't be able to fool them.
Always looks so good, Marcus. Always looks so good. I mean, as a chef, France been a very special place to you over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, when I was in school, French cookery was the base of everything that we were taught. There was no other real cuisine that we were taught. So in the 80s, the 90s, it was all about France and their food. All our exams were all based around French cuisine. So everything, you know, in your thinking was about the food of France. And so never really travelled much with food at all in my life. I've only ever spent all my time in kitchens, as you know, and the opportunity to go and discover what I consider to be the root of what I am and who I am as a chef is an absolute privilege. But not to go and discover the fine food of France or the fine wines. It was to get into the heart and soul of a region, Saint-Rémy in Provence, which was just absolutely stunning.
So I loved this episode, which, you know, it's just been on before us tonight, and will be on iPlayer for you. So, as you say, you really get into the nub of it, and you go to visit this amazing school cook, and you were absolutely blown away by her. What was she making?
She made a 3-course meal for the children. 2 cooks in the kitchen for these young kids at school, a 3-course menu of a soup de pistou, beautiful little tart at the end, and I can't remember what the starter was now, but a 3-course menu. Gazpacho. 3-course menu, and they ate everything. There was silence. They put their hand up when they wanted more food. They were beautiful. And what I found really interesting about this school and the lady Maud who was cooking, that lunch for those children was probably the meal of their day. They may have gone home and had a baguette with some cheese or some ham, so it was a really important meal. And the school embraces the community, the farming community, all are part of their food and their meal. So it was quite extraordinary, because school meals is where I started with my father. It was one of the jobs that we used to deliver fruit and spuds into school meals in the Northwest. That's my dad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately not with us anymore, sadly. So he was my rock. That man was the man that put me on a train in Liverpool at the age of 18, told me to go to London and not come back.
Wow. Is that one of the reasons you included some of the recipes from your mum and dad in the series?
I cannot talk about food. I don't know what it is. Wherever I am, I can't talk about food unless I bring back my past, my father, my mother. Yet we weren't big cooks at home. It was just what my father meant to me and what my mother did at home as a cook. My dad was a workaholic. He spent all of his life at work. He was a fruit and potato merchant. But the humble, basic ingredients of what my father's business was is what set me sail in the kitchen. So I left school, or was at school at the age of 11 up to 16. I'd go to work with my father every single day. Every night I got out of school, I was at his warehouse. When I came to London at the age of 18, I had 6-7 years in front of all the chefs around me. My dad taught me how to look after produce, how to work with it, how to store it, how to just be at one with food, basic food. And that's a humble lesson that I would teach any young chef. Social media, not so sure. Maybe. It's all about the basics. It's all about a fabulous foundation. So going to France, for me, was going to the foundation of what I am as a chef.
Get the basics right. Talking of getting the basics right, Sunday's just gone. John, your wife's a Brit.
She is.
She is a Brit. Who does the Sunday roast in your house? Because I've heard you've given it a go recently.
I have given it a go, and that is why she is the one who cooks the roast in the house.
Where did it go wrong? Where did it go?
It was the first thing I ever cooked for her. I wanted to impress her for and I said, I'm gonna make a meal for you. She said, great, what are you gonna do? And I said, roast chicken. And she went, oh God. And I said, oh God, isn't that the easiest? And she goes, oh my God, it's the hardest. And I found out it was the hardest.
Are you still together? Was it okay?
Yeah, it was all right.
Okay.
It was okay, yes.
If you need any tips after the show, there's your man.
Thank you very much.
Give him a shout.
Thank you.
Marcus, you know, you actually give lots of great tips to the viewers in the new series, particularly about keeping costs down when cooking. What kind of thing can they expect?
The point of the show was to go and look at the humble ingredients, and what you find in Saint-Rémy in Provence is just that for the farming community and the basic ingredients they just adore, and they make the most of them. They grow them beautifully, they look after them. It's just about tips, like sort of buy the tomatoes, don't put them in the fridge. Buy tinned ingredients. The show teaches you how to use basic, humble food, humble ingredients, and make them taste delicious. It's a journey, and I'd like the viewer to come on a journey with me. You know, if people see me in a chef's jacket and think fine food, take that chef's jacket off, and I'm no different to any other man. I go out and I cook and I do what I do. The thing is that I just think there are little things that you can do, the way you season, the way you add lemon, touch of vinegar, deglazing, and just fresh. We talk about food and what we need to eat and to improve our lives. Eat as much fresh food as you possibly can. And it doesn't have to be expensive. No. Doesn't.
Cailey, did they keep the strawberries out the fridge on the set of Star Wars? Because apparently that's what they kept you going on.
Yes, they did. I was freshly 8 years old whenever I filmed Star Wars, and J.J. Abrams was so nice. I had one scene and I had to cry all day. That was my scene, and he was like, "Can I get you anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want strawberries." So in between every take, he would bring out a basket of strawberries, and I ate them, and then at the end of the day, he asked me if I could go anywhere in California, where would I go? And I obviously said Disneyland. So after I wrapped, after crying all day, I went to Disneyland.
Oh,
Strawberries in Disneyland.
I mean,
So nailed that
pretty
scene.
good going.
Yeah, he's awesome.
No wonder it was acting from then on in. Marcus Wareing, Simply Provence continues tomorrow at 6:30 on BBC Two, and the series is available now on iPlayer.
OK, now last week we launched our Growing Together award with the Royal Horticultural Society. It's open to anyone involved in a community garden that's been transformed in the last 3 years.
So if you're part of a gardening group, no matter the size, we would love to hear from you. Tell us how the community project has transformed your local area and inspired people to get gardening.
If you'd like to enter, then head to the One Show website, bbc.co.uk/The One Show, where you'll find a link to the competition along with the terms and privacy notice. You've got until 6 p.m. on the 9th of June to get your entries in. So good luck.
Yes, green fingers crossed. And speaking of green fingers, Fiona, I hear that you have them. What do you love about gardening?
I just love being in the garden, and I just love it. Whenever I'm in the garden, always the ghost of my father is standing over me going, "Be very careful with that rose, they're very dangerous." I can hear him. So I love going to the garden.
Is your garden here?
That's my garden.
Beauty.
Oh my God.
That is a
But
gorgeous
that
number.
does
Idyll.
It doesn't look like that now, does it? This weather.
And Cailey, you know, you've accomplished so much already. You know, we talked about the strawberries on the set of Star Wars. You started in The Walking Dead, obviously. If now, I wonder, on the horizon, you know, what's the dream role? What you're aiming for?
This is my dream role. Thank you so much.
She's peaked.
No, I'm serious.
If two.
Yes.
If two.
Yeah,
If two.
yeah. Come on, I'll do it.
Why not?
Demanding a sequel already.
No, seriously, I was gonna take a break from acting, but then I got a call and I got to audition for this movie, and I don't know what I would have done if I didn't do it, because it's been my dream come true.
We're so glad you said yes.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yes.
We've got some messages to quickly get through tonight, haven't we? Got one for you, Johnny, a comment actually. It's from Lauren. She says, I want to say thanks to John for providing everyone with so many laughs over the years. The Office has been my comfort show for the last decade, and I can't wait to watch the new film.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. That's so nice.
Absolutely love that. That's all we've got time for tonight. Thank you so much to our wonderful guests for joining us.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Tomorrow, Baroness Floella Benjamin and Sewing Bees Patrick Grant are going to be here. So have a lovely evening tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
See you soon. Bye.